As we all know from Star Wars Celebration, we got a myriad of different films from different eras announced, and one that caught a lot of attention, naturally because she appeared on stage, was the one set 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, and naturally with Daisy Ridley appearing on stage. I'm not here to discuss mine or your opinion of the sequel trilogy. Am I the biggest fan? No, not really. But if you are, that's great, and I'm happy that you have something in Star Wars to enjoy, to call your own. And I always saw this, I saw this really good post from someone, it was ages ago on Twitter, and they said you've got to treat Star Wars like a menu at a restaurant. Some things you're gonna love, some things you're gonna be okay, and some things you might not have seconds of, but hey, that's what it was all about. And let's face it, I say this time and time again, my favorite film is Phantom Menace. So, yeah. I love it though. I saw this being talked about from a bunch of different YouTubers, and as usual, I didn't want to look at what they said. So I read some of the articles, and there was one from Greek Tyrant, and they claim from sources, as usual, take these with a grain of salt, because people have biases, they have clicks to make, so let's not take everything at face value, and things change in projects so often that we can't. Even if they are correct rumors, they might change down the line. Anyway, Jeff Snyder was quoted saying that Rey will definitely not be the main character, but a supporting one. And he also said that according to sources, it's most likely that John Boyega will return to reprise the role of Finn. What will all of this entail though? The film is set 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, and if we look at how most other Jedi have progressed, it would be safe to say that Rey is now a master in her own right, and likely the head of a new Jedi Order. The only thing that could possibly get in the way of this, Grogu, but depends. You know, he might just be an eternal ruler at Mandalore at this point, because at this stage, our beloved Grogu and Bo-Katan will likely not be in the picture anymore. The only reason I see Rey reprising a supporting role is because she has a responsibility to train fellow Jedi, and will likely mean if there is a main character, it could be Finn or another Padawan in the Order. I think Rey will maybe take on more of an old Ben in A New Hope. Still there, still very prevalent in the story, but not the primary focus. You know, how we had Han and Obi-Wan, and then we clearly had the main person, Luke. Something that is up for huge speculation, in my opinion, is how prevalent the Force Ghost will be. In the past, it was just Qui-Gon, and if there was ever a Jedi that would just let the universe play out, it's him. So how many ghosts do we have at this point? Well, we have Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Anakin, and Luke, kind of, and Leia. However, when Rey was almost down and out, we hear from all of those mentioned just now, along with Mace Windu, Ahsoka, Kanan, Luminara, Aayla Secura, and Ado Gallia. I think it'd be safe to say with this many Jedi Masters available in some form would be a whole different level of Jedi Order. As far as we can tell, there was very little involvement from the vast majority. It's something I could see happening in a book, but in TV or film, I could see people calling it fan service. I just want more Qui-Gon in my life. If we see any Force Ghosts regularly, it would be Luke. Generally speaking, it seems to be some kind of affiliation. Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan, then Obi-Wan to Luke, Yoda to Luke, etc., and so on and so forth. But 15 years is a long time. And I would imagine that the Luke visits would be few and far between, appearing more in crisis situations or moments of huge doubt, much like Yoda did with Luke in The Last Jedi. Plus, I feel like if we had all these Force Ghosts appearing back and being masters of some kind in this order, it could create a wackiness of a whole different kind of level that might feel odd. I don't know. But sometimes less is more. I would love to see Finn done well. I have nothing but love for John Boyega. It'd be cool to see something more from all the teasers of Force sensitivity come to mean something. My theory has always been, we will get with Rey what we got in EU with Luke. The question is, what challenges will we face? Is it crime syndicates, First Order remnants, or a new but old enemy like the Yuuzhan Vong? Whilst these big bad villains from the Uncharted space seem like a great threat, to have it's something that would need a whole trilogy, and for me personally, it'd feel a bit too Marvel-esque. Finn and Poe's energy together is so contagious, but if everything continues from Rise of Skywalker, Poe will most likely be out of the picture because he'll have some really high and important role, such as a commander, and if he does appear, it might just be in that role rather as like a companion to all the crew around them. He was already doing his own thing, and he might be doing his own thing even more by the end of this. Without a Solo 2, we don't really see a crime syndicate on the big screen. I'd much rather Solo 2, because if they did, we'd get Maul and Kira. But at the same time, I would much prefer this film got a crime syndicate, so that we don't get another First Order Remnant Empire, the same kind of like big bad enemies in a way, minus obviously, you know, the Trade Federation in the first film. It'd be nice to have a little breakaway from that and have something completely separate. To summarize it all, I would love to see more of Finn and Rey. When the galaxy is in 15 years' time, that is also another great story. So for now, I'm going to wait and see what comes up for all of us. What do you guys imagine happening? Are you looking forward to this, or are you looking at the other films on the horizon? I think we all know which ones I'm looking forward to the most. Thank you all so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing, and that way you get more videos of just a man stumbling around the galaxy talking about a franchise and a universe that I greatly enjoy. And remember, as always, the Force will be with you, always.